Great. Awesome.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Can someone confirm that they can hear me?
Roger that, loud and clear.
Thank you. Now I just have to figure out my video now.
Can anyone hear me? Okay. Well, apparently you can't hear on this thing. Let's get this off. All right. Dara, I know you can hear me. You're in the next room. I'm looking at Denise going, can you hear me? You can't? Okay. Because these earphones are driving me nuts. Oh, you could? Well, heck. That was easier for my ears. So you can hear me, but I can't hear y'all.
No one's talking.
Yeah, but see, I'm still hearing it through my computer, and I play havoc with these things, you know?
Hey everyone.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
All right. Denise, will Steve be joining us tonight?
He may later.
Okay.
He's taxiing off the runway. So, let's go ahead and kick it off. We have, Patrick O'Day, who will be absent this evening. We have Julie Ward, who will, call in about 5:15. So we thought we could do some, business until then. Mark Smith may be running a little bit late. And Jennifer Sheffield, I don't see her on. But if we can go ahead and call order at 5:01 of the May 20th, 2021 UB Ad Hoc Committee meeting. First thing that we have then is the acceptance of the April 22nd, 2021 minutes.
Denise, do you have a full quorum to do that?
Do we need a quorum to accept minutes?
I'm asking. And
My understanding is the only quorum we need is for voting on recommendations. You gotta have at least 6 votes.
Right.
okay. I just want to make sure that you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
Okay.
We are. So for the April 22nd, 2021 minutes, could I get a motion to approve?
Actually, I make a motion that we postpone this to the next committee meeting.
Okay. I can accept that. How about you, Ralph? Ralph?
I have to unmute. That's fine.
Your wife would like that button, I'm
Awesome.
sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, and she would control the mute button. Yeah, no, let's just, for that, given that we don't have everybody, we'll just postpone it. That's great.
Okay, so let's carry that forward, Nancy.
Got it. I appreciate it. I just want to
Absolutely.
give me time to write it all down here.
Good evening, Mayor. How are you?
All good. Thank you, Denise. Just real quick, comments from me. Continue to press forward, continue to do your work. Appreciate you guys for what you're doing. Monday night, we have a UB update on that same agenda item. We have any updates from the ad hoc group, which also includes the subgroup. If you have a report, so you guys can bring that Monday night. It's all on the agenda, so we can have dialogue with you and those types of things in the process. So I know Nancy and her group will be bringing an update. So It's going to be an interesting night. Monday night, we have stay for the whole thing because we've got lots on the agenda for Monday night. We're going to start it off. I'm just going to say this: we're going to celebrate a lacrosse state championship for our city, and we're going to celebrate that and celebrate these young men and their accomplishments for what they've done in our community. And I can't wait to get down and give a proclamation to them. In fact, I think I got the wording here a little bit ago. We're going to tweak that and have that ready for Monday night. So it'll be a good night to be in council chambers because I think we're going to have a full house to start it off. Hopefully some of them will stay for a minute or two, but anyway, it should be good. So I appreciate your work. Be diligent and keep at it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. We will be prepared with an update on Monday evening as well.
Mayor, I do have a question. If the committee or subcommittee does have a presentation, is having a PowerPoint going to be a problem?
No, it shouldn't be a problem.
Awesome.
We'll either email that to, I see Joe on here. Yeah, I see Joe on here or Josh. We can either email it or bring it in. So as part of regular routine business, we should be able to do that. The good news is, since it's on the agenda, we can have dialogue with you.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's great news.
I just want to bring attention to the fact that Steve is online. I believe he's not going to be able to contribute in the conversation since he's on the airplane, but he'll be listening. And I just wanted to make a little statement that when I moved here, no one knew what lacrosse was unless you were a Yankee. So I'm super excited. Not only do they know how to play lacrosse, but they also can take it to state championship. So pretty proud of that. Okay, let's move to our next action item.
Denise, if I could, I'd like to help out. Mayor mentioned that, Josh is on the line. Mr. Davis, if you want to forward that PowerPoint presentation over, I'll be happy to send that over to Josh or where it needs to go to, so we'll have it ready
It's
for
not
Monday
ready.
night.
It's
Okay.
not ready yet. It'll be
Okay.
developed over the
Okay.
weekend. I have
Okay.
homework.
You have homework. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you, Denise.
Absolutely, no worries. If we could give control to Jimmy, we're going to review the action item list of outstanding items. Who has control? Is that you, Nance?
I've shared the control.
Okay, thank you, Dara. You got it, Jimmy?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, bear with me just a second. Let me get it pulled up. Project governance documents, action log, and
And I'm not a real good flyer, so Steve, no turbulence, please.
all right. So share. I'm gonna share. Tell you what, screen one. Okay, so can everybody see the action log?
Good.
Okay. So I've gone through and we've had some questions and updates. I wanted to get some clarification and find out we've made a lot of progress and we just need to review kind of what's open. I've gone through and made a little list. Action item number 4, the staff presentation on future dashboard 2-1 meeting. The comment was, what's the policy for how long estimating a meter read is performed before the meter's replaced? I've reviewed the comments provided by Nancy. So my question is, in the comments, Nancy, you state, due to forthcoming AMI project, meters were not replaced. Are you saying that was before when we had the old mechanical meters and we were going to the Badger meters? Or are you saying that today we still don't have a policy because we're waiting on AMI to go live?
No, I'll clarify that and put that into the action log as well. What that meant was prior to my appearance here in Pearland,
Yeah.
the staff here was waiting for the AMI project to start, so therefore they were not changing out those water meters. And the reason for that was, you can imagine if they want to buy Neptune, brand new Neptune water meters to put them in, when in about, at that point, they were realizing that they're probably looking at about 12 months or just over 12 months that they were going to go ahead and put in brand new water meters. Why spend the money on those for Neptune water meters and then turn around and you're going to change those out anyway? So that was the concept of it.
All right. Do we have a policy in place today? Is there a
Regarding-
policy?
Repeat the question again. Policy for estimations?
A policy that says if something happens with the meter such that we have to estimate volume, we replace it. How long, how many times can it not give us data that we can produce a bill with that we say we're replacing it?
Let me
And then
answer it.
what's the timeline?
All right, so let me, would you like me to answer it to the team right now? Because I'd like to go ahead and vet that through the meter services people and to see where they have it. My first feeling on is that when a meter cannot be read because it's broken or the antenna's broken and we don't get a reading, then we're going to send them out to go ahead and find out why they're not getting a reading. And if that's the case, then they're going to have to fix it or replace, either the meter or the endpoint. And then we'll be able to pick up a reading on it the next time. That's going to come up on the next time we take a reading.
Okay, so, all right, so you're gonna have to get back with me. So on that item, I'm gonna go ahead and clear out the completed date because it's not been. So we're gonna mark that as still being open. And I'll change assign to you. Is that okay, Nancy?
That's fine.
And I'd like to ask if we can have that information by close of business, May 28th.
Actually, you're gonna get it before then because I will be out of town that day.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Next, action item number 5. Mr. King had asked for, it was a presentation y'all did on February 1st. You had a slide 19 that had some different, it was the increase in billing amounts, and he asked staff to redo that slide with the standard deviation, show what a single standard deviation would be in terms of the dollar amounts. He wants slide 30 to also show what's the delta of change. So the bill went up a certain dollar amount. Can you show us what that delta was? The comment said no direction was given for staff to proceed. Is staff able to take, especially slide 19, and can they calculate what a single deviation would be? Or is that just information we can't get?
On that, I would have to ask on that slide 19, Mr. King, is that from the presentation from Mr. Roach?
That was on the presentations where y'all did the 2-month price increases of those counts that were greater than 100%. I believe that's that
Okay.
presentation.
Yeah, the
Okay.
November, December data
Yeah,
analysis, bills went up 100%, that one.
that one.
All right,
Yeah.
so that one is what you're asking for, because I'll have to go back to Mr. Roach on that and ask him to, on slide 19, you're asking to redo with a single deviation. All right, so
Yeah, well, the point is that the data shows and the plot shows that it's a very narrow. We all right?
yeah, I heard background noises. I just want
I
to
did.
mute me so I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, so the plot showed that there was a relatively narrow range of bills for residentials. And the question I had is what's the mean and what's the standard deviation? What's the average bill and what's the average deviation, standard deviation, plus or minus, for that bill? And since he had that in a plot, I'm assuming he generated that out of an Excel. I'm assuming if he's got it in Excel, it's just a function in Excel.
We probably just needed a clarification on it
Yeah.
to know
So
what you wanted, because it just said redo standard deviation. It might have been just, didn't have a clarification of what he wanted.
it didn't have a standard deviation. I'm asking you to calculate it.
Okay, and then on slide 30,
I think slide 30 showed, and there was a big discussion at the time as to was that the increase or was that the actual bill?
okay,
I think
So,
it's
yeah.
the increase. I think it's the increase. But that was kind of that. And when I asked that, it was still debatable as to which way it was.
okay, so you want to know what the delta of change is on slide 30.
Right. Is that I think the slide is annotated that says bill amount of increase. If that's true, that's fine. But I got the impression there was a discussion that wasn't right, and it should have read the bill, what the bill amount was.
Okay, so
And-
that you need to know what the delta of change is and just
Yeah.
more of a clarification
Right.
of the terminology that was on the slide,
Yeah.
Mr.
Yes.
King? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Get up to the next action item number
Jimmy,
8.
I'm sorry. Did you assign that one?
What? Good question.
Sorry.
We're going to want to assign that to Eric, maybe,
Let's, can we
or
assign,
Nancy.
can we assign it to Nancy and have her in charge of getting back with Eric? Is that okay?
Yes.
So it's just one
Yes.
point person?
mhm,
That works.
Okay,
That
thanks you
works.
guys.
that would be
Um,
better.
Action item number 8, water system reconciliation. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this out. It's not yet complete. We're asking for reconciliation of the water system, kind of the process and overview. I'm not sure where the response about funds being borrowed to finance the billing lag. I don't think that's what was being asked. I believe we were really looking for was kind of an idea. Is there a process that the city of Pearland has that says in the month of April, we produced X number of gallons from our wells. We bought Y number of gallons from the city of Houston. So X plus Y is Z. This is the total number of gallons that should go out to our customers. And here's the number of gallons we billed for. Do we have any kind of reconciliation of that, of the system?
And
Well,
actually,
that's
it
not
would,
what-
it would be called a water balance.
All right.
What's the balance in gallons? And what's the error in gallons? There's going to be some accounted for plus or minus. How much is missing?
And gentlemen, I'm used to calling it a water loss report.
Okay, water
And
loss.
that's what I'm used to calling it, a water loss report, because what that takes into account is all the water that you purchase, all the water that you have to flush, and then what was left over to what was sold. So then you have to stay in a certain percentage of what that is. So let me see if I can get with water production. Again, sign it to me, Jimmy, Mr. Davis,
Okay.
sign it to me
Okay.
so that way I can go ahead and get with the right people on that to get you that type of report. All right.
Jim, would you
Right.
note in there that the city in the comments, would you note the city refers to as water loss report?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I do understand that you have to generate that in order to provide it for the water district for the Brazoria
Texas-
County, whatever it is.
Texas
But
Water Development Board.
Right, but I think what I understood is that is only done in an audit format and is not an ongoing calculation.
Yeah.
I'll find out for you. I don't know. But let's find out.
All right. Moving on down to action item number 30, the asset management software benefits and usage. I think it says, we're supposed to have a brief talk about the software benefits, how it might be used to streamline the meter to cash process. There's a note that Nancy, you had said we'd have someone at the March 11th meeting to speak on it. And we've had a couple meetings since then and we haven't. I think for me personally, I'd be interested to know, we've heard things like AWWA says, recommends 10 years or 1 million gallons. We've heard talk about work order system. I think I've seen that we can put in work orders, but the process to close out work orders might be challenging. I'm kind of interested if the asset management software would have capabilities of things like, can it integrate with New World so it knows when a meter reaches 1 million gallons billed, that the asset management software says, oh, it's time to replace it. It's at end of life, creates a work order, sends a flag to somebody that says, you need to get this scheduled. If we have issues with identifying, communication devices that are malfunctioning, can the asset management software help track that? To say, hey, you need to change this out. So just kind of what benefits would this software have to the utility billing? As I recall, when they adopted it, I think staff was allocating half the cost of the software to the enterprise fund, which seemed a bit excessive to me considering all the devices it's tracking. But if it's really half of it's just going to be for water, sewer, enterprise, I would hope there'd be some benefits to meter to cash. It's a lot of money for something that wouldn't provide a lot of benefit. So that's kind of, I'd really like to have somebody give us a presentation on that. And how's that really going to help meter to cash, if at all?
Okay. Now I
Okay.
have a better understanding what you're looking for. Okay.
All right. Let's look, let me scroll, that's just fine. Okay, so now we'll go get to a couple items that I took the liberty of adding because it's items I've requested. They apparently never got onto the log. And I guess that's why they haven't been provided.
Can I ask a question on that too? It would be
Sure.
helpful since we have two
Sure.
subcommittees, or we have a subcommittee and an ad hoc committee, y'all. Can
Sure.
everything go onto this action log? It's really helpful to have one depository for me to go and look at everything so I can decimate the information out and give it out to whoever it needs to go to and get that information back, please.
We
No.
can do that.
I
Yes.
appreciate it. Yeah. Going from
So-
emails and everything else, I appreciate it, you guys. It's just one location. Yeah.
All right. I'm and one thing that's not clear to me, the date column in column D, is that the date we're adding it or the date we're wanting it by?
This is
That's the
something that
date
you
that
guys
you're-
did, yeah.
That's the date that it was put on the action log.
Okay, so back when Mr. McCarter was here and I checked, I even think I sent Miss Lorraine James while she was interim director of finance, a revenue budget performance reports. Report I got last year asking for some information. City provided. Mr. McCarter and I discussed it. Very insightful report. It's updated monthly. And I asked for it when he was here. He said, yeah, we can get that to you. That's what Miss James was told. Yeah. Mr. McCarter left in February. It's been a few months and that's the title of the report. He said it's a system generated, it's updated every month. And it's a push button report. So
What's the name of it again? I'm so sorry, Jimmy, I didn't hear it.
it's the revenue budget performance report. And it's a push button report out of New World is what I was told. And I'd like to have that has some important information that I need for Monday. So I'd like, since it's a push button report, to have it by tomorrow, close business tomorrow.
Jimmy, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. That would be the April is the one that you're looking for, the month of April?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the most up to date. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll give Kristen an email right now, Nancy, if you want to assign that to me. And I'll hit her with that and hopefully we can have it tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you, Amy, appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. Next item, the AWWA guidance on weighted averages for testing, and that's actually going to be Mr. Upton, because he has said numerous times he could get us that information. And it's just one of the questions that came up is, our ultrasonic meters have varying have varying degrees of accuracy. Some have a 5% range, some have a 1.5% range, depending on the rate of flow. But we're doing all our testing on a weighted average, and I've just never seen anything that allows that says, yeah, that's good. Let me mute real quick. And some background noise. Let me try to. Okay. All right. Well,
Everybody can go on mute.
yeah. So if we can be provided with the documentation from AWWA on using weighted averages, because I was told, yeah, it's easy to get, but we've been asking for a while. And I'd like, if that's something that he can just pull out the book, print out a page and email it over, that would be great. But ideally, I'd like to have that by close of business tomorrow as well. We've been trying to get that for quite a while. Okay.
Nancy, it looks like you're talking, but you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. As again, my family would love the same. Can you put a date on there too? Because it doesn't have a date on it, Mr. Davis. But you said you've been asking for a while, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have a date on it. I'll ask Mr. Upton. I'll ask him to see how fast I can. I don't know how fast he can get that for you. I know y'all just say that you've been asking for it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So let me just make sure I understand
All right.
correctly. You're asking for the AWWA guidelines when it comes to weighted averages.
Yeah, just where it shows that you can do a weighted averages on these ultrasonic meters. Because like low flow has an accuracy range of plus or minus 5%, medium and high flow are 1.5%. So whatever documentation there is on how to do a weighted average on those.
And I remember you talked about that too when we showed, when the, you had a recent
When we
the
had
demonstration on May
discussed.
5th. And you were
Yeah.
wondering how you have a low flow, a medium flow, and a high flow, and how do you get a weighted average if there's different flows?
Yeah,
So is
and
that
different
where you're going to?
accuracy ranges. Yeah,
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
okay, so that, now I understand where you want to go with that. I appreciate it.
yeah. Mhm. Okay. Um, next up, on that same day,
Mhm.
Nancy, you and I spoke about the calibration
Calibration.
records from the
And I
southern flow meter equipment.
I'm sending him a reminder. I sent him an email on that same day. And he said
Okay.
that, yes, he could get them to me, and he hasn't gotten them to me. So I'm gonna send him a lovely reminder right now while I'm
Alrighty.
listening. Okay. And
And
that's
yeah,
action item number 41.
yes. And if we can have that back, I didn't know where we stood on it, but by close of business, the 31st. Sooner would of course be preferred, but it should give enough time, I would think.
Jimmy, if you want, we can add a column for a projected completion date or deliverable date or
I
something.
have it on the action. I'm putting what the
Right.
date is, so.
Jennifer can add one and dig it out of that so that you
Okay.
can sort by it in the
Alright.
future.
Okay. If we prefer. Let me see, I think. All right, this is the last item. Nancy, we will get the email you sent asking about Jennifer. We'll get that information added onto here after the meeting.
Thank you.
But on one of the supporting documentation we are given about meters, include a meter testing memo that Mr. Hammond had authored. The date on it was March 12th. It was from him to Trent Epperson. And it was a meter testing memo. Page 3 had a meter testing log. On that log, there's a column titled test date. And I just want to make sure I understand, is that the date that Southern Flow Meter actually tested the device? Or is that the date that city staff gave it to them and they just ran the test at their convenience?
Okay, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I'm saying he can probably verify. He probably knows the answer, and I suspect that's one would be called test date, not meter transfer date. I'm assuming that's the date of the actual test, but I want to make sure I understand it right.
Okay.
Okay, and that goes over the action item log for me. So how do I stop sharing? All right, so that covers my part.
Thank you. I guess if we can go back, Dara, to the agenda. I was trying to scroll down it earlier. Yeah, it doesn't work well. Can you scroll us down to further down the page? Right there, right there. Right there.
Number 5.
Yep. So number 5, I couldn't remember what that number was outside of it. We would like to take, as a team, we would like to take a consensus vote on the recommendation number 6, consider alternatives to the 3230 plan. The plan that we have up tonight is the same plan that we sent to the city, but Dara, if you could share that screen with me, I'd like to make sure that we have the document up.
Actually, Denise, it is not.
But
The document we are adopting is not the
has been
document that
edited?
was sent to
Okay.
city that they reviewed, correct.
Okay.
It might be easiest if I'm given share capabilities again. and
Well, I just
can
lost my
walk
power,
us through.
Dara. Just go
Sure.
ahead and give it to Jimmy.
Mr. Davis, I'm going to show you the screen again, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I had it for 30 seconds.
All right.
That's all right.
Okay. Get some stuff moved so we can go. Box location. Okay, so the 3230 alternative summary that we're voting on tonight, in consideration of Raftellus recommendation number 6, what to do about the 3230 plan and possible alternatives, this committee has developed a recommendation based on 4 guiding principles. Those principles are: 1, nobody should be billed for something they don't owe. 2, there is a certain amount of money that account holders owe, and that is due the city. 3, fear of what the future may hold, bonds, budget cuts, rate increases, should not keep the committee from doing what is right. 4, rebuilding public trust is paramount. If the committee makes a recommendation that doesn't accomplish that, then we have failed. In considering the best path forward for such an important matter, many factors need to be considered. Factors this committee has weighed include transparency, ease of implementation, financial implications, and the ability to explain to the public in a manner that they can understand and will help to rebuild trust. Fortunately, the recent freeze and the amazing efforts by utility billing staff to take meter reads after the freeze compared to 2020 consumption, which includes adjusting the consumption from 28 to 32 days, and bill residents for lesser too, has instilled confidence in the ability of staff to execute and implement this plan. The recommendation from this committee is to move away from the 3230 plan at the end of June 2021 and to calculate the amount each account owes at that point. The city should generate bills for every outstanding meter read at that time. The amount due depends on when the account was created, but general guidance is as follows. The majority of account holders, roughly 80%, have had service well before the gap between meter read and billing began, which is in either the third or fourth quarter of 2018, depending on cycle. These account holders should have all outstanding meter reads billed without any base water charges, sewer charges, trash charges, or any mud surcharges. Roughly 7% of account holders open their account and experience a delay of almost a month to as much as almost 2 months from when their meter was read to the first bill being created. They will owe 1 base water charge, 1 sewer charge, 1 trash charge, and 1 mud surcharge. If they have 2 outstanding meter reads at the end of June 2021, second meter read will have none of these monthly charges. Roughly 13% of account holders owe 2 months of base charges. For these customers, every outstanding meter read should be assessed all charges. This will be the easiest group to generate a bill for. Because trash charges vary and those who owe trash charges technically receive free service possibly as far back as 2018, it is recommended that a catch-up trash rate of $15 per month be used, as it has not been less than that during 2018 or since then. Since we're talking about a problem that started more than 2.5 years ago, and the amount of water we can't say exactly when it was used, as well as the current tier structure allows for residents to be overcharged, it is recommended that all consumption be billed at the lowest tier consumption rate applicable to the account holder. All outstanding meter reads that are billed where a base charge isn't assessed should have the billed volume reduced by 2,290 gallons. A meter read for a resident in Group A that is inside city limits of 8,000 gallons would have 5,710 gallons billed at $4.06 per 1,000 gallons. It's important that in July 2021, we move back to a monthly meter read. City Council, if they adopt this recommendation, will also need to adopt new tiers, and it's a recommendation that they revert to the tiers in place prior to implementation of the 3230 plan. This is the document that was sent out to the committee members a couple times this week. There have been no emails suggesting any changes. On the call, do any committee members have any suggested edits? This is the recommendation we are going to be voting on. Okay, hearing none.
Okay.
Is the chairman on and where he can call for a vote, or the
No,
vice
he's
chair?
not.
He's
He is
not?
not.
Okay.
No,
Madam
he's not.
Vice Chair, I turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. I have in possession 3 proxies for Steve Sabo, Mark Smith, Patrick O'Day. We were waiting for Julie to join us. I don't know what's holding her up at this point, but I'll take votes from the
Don't we
team.
need do we need a motion?
Yes, but I'm just explaining what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm going to take votes for the team members that are online, and then I will share proxy votes and read them in. So I'd like to make a motion to propose the consensus of the ad hoc citizens team 3230 alternative plan. If I could get a motion, please.
Motion.
Could I get a
Second.
second?
Second.
Thank you. Having a second,
Julie
ahead.
is online.
Julie's online.
She's on the phone, yes. Number ending in 58.
Julie,
She may be muted.
I just want to hear her voice. Julie, can you announce your presence? I know there's 2 phone numbers. I think one's Dara's and I think the other one is Jennifer's. Okay, I don't hear her. Okay, so,
Joe's mute.
Can y'all hear me now?
okay, great, thank you. We're getting ready to
Thank you,
do the consensus vote for the 3230 plan. I don't know what point you came on. So I'm going to do a roll call vote at this point, and I'd like a simple yay, nay, yes or no. Julie Ward, you're the first one up.
Yay.
Thank you very much for your vote. Jimmy Davis,
Yay.
Ralph King,
Yay.
Jennifer Sheffield,
Yay.
myself, yay. I have the 3 proxies for Steve, Mark Smith, and Patrick O'Day, and they all are along with this document so that they're housed online for references.
Good. I'm sorry. I think the computer froze a bit. Can you restate what you've mentioned on the proxies?
I have, did you hear that the 3 proxies that I had?
No.
Okay. I have 3 proxies, Steve Sabos, Mark Smith, and Patrick O'Day's. All 3 of them voted yay. I have physical emails with their and will be providing those as documentation for retention as their vote.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes our meeting for this evening. So meeting's called at 5:42 p.m. Thank you very much for everyone's participation.
Thank you.
Mayor, for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too, thanks. I'm waiting till the end.